So you're thinking about making a move to Phoenix, Arizona, but you're also thinking about maybe moving to the Dallas, Texas area. So guys, in this video today, I'm going to be walking you through, some of the similarities because when we were thinking about moving down here to Phoenix, we also looked at Dallas. So I just want to walk you through, some of the thoughts that we had of, why we chose kind of these two finalist cities, as well as then at the end, I'm going to take you through why we ultimately chose to move to the beautiful and sunny Phoenix, Arizona area. Guys, and you want to stick around all the way to the end because the last reason why we picked Phoenix was a major deal breaker for why we chose the Phoenix area over Dallas. So guys, stay tuned and we'll get after it right now. So without a doubt, one of the things that excited us most about, either choosing Phoenix or Dallas. So we moved from Nebraska, right? And I'm from Omaha, so there's about 1 million people. What was so exciting for us about either picking Phoenix or Dallas is just like how big and how, growing the cities were. So we moved right in the middle of COVID. And so at the time, everybody was moving to Dallas, everybody was moving to Phoenix, everybody was moving to Florida. So there was just a very exciting time to get out and move. Both of these cities are absolutely massive. Phoenix is about 5 million. I think the Dallas area is like 7 or 8 now, given like Fort Worth and everything like that. So, there's a ton of opportunity. There's a ton of young people that were moving there. So that really excited us. There's so much stuff to do. We'll cover that here in a second. But, that is why, the Phoenix and Dallas area stood out to us the most, is that they were just massive cities. There was so much opportunity. There's so much diversity in the city. Every single thing, every single group, hangout that you could think of, Dallas and Phoenix have it. So that was a huge part of why these two cities made our finalists for where we were thinking about moving to. Now, one of the second things that really stood out to us about these two cities is that both have really good sports and entertainment options. So, there's always something going on. I'm sure in Dallas, I know for sure here in Phoenix, there's always good concerts coming. The Weeknd, Taylor Swift, like you name it, these huge artists, they're always coming to Phoenix. It's a huge metro city, so there's going to be just so much opportunity for entertainment options. You always have, like farmers markets, or you always have like fairs. There's always stuff going on here in Phoenix. Now it's summertime right now, so probably not quite as much going on now as there is in the wintertime. But same thing with Dallas, right? Like there's the 4 major sports teams. RIP to the Arizona Coyotes and the Phoenix Coyotes. They actually just left here. But the cool thing is that you have that ability. Now Steph and I, we don't go to a ton of games anymore. I thought moving down here we would always be going to sporting events. Definitely really not the case. I don't know, it's just our lifestyle. We choose to travel versus going to games, but it is so nice for us that we have that option. So for example, last year the Diamondbacks and actually the Texas Rangers, they were both in the World Series, right? So it's just so cool that you have the ability to go to events like that. When I was in Nebraska, we had the College World Series and Nebraska football, which are amazing events, but that's only, a really small time of year. Down here in Phoenix and especially in Dallas, the ability to be able to go to the sporting events all year round was definitely a huge attraction point for why we picked these two cities and why they were in our finalist. Again, it's just the ability to have that in your back pocket. You don't have to go to it all the time, but it's nice to have, especially honestly, if people come into town, they want to go do stuff. They want to go to golf tournaments. They want to go to, baseball, basketball, football events. So definitely a huge plus as to why we picked these two cities. Now moving on to our third option, and honestly, if you're thinking about moving, this is probably very similar for you. You just kind of want something different, right? So I grew up in the Midwest. I was born in Minneapolis. I've lived there for a little bit, and then my family ultimately moved down to Nebraska. So you kind of had, Minnesota and Nebraska, they're very similar. Obviously a little different. Minnesota's a little bit more outdoorsy than Nebraska, especially in the winter. But like down here in Phoenix and Dallas, it is so different. The cultures are so different than you get here in the Midwest. So we really love that aspect of, we thought about going to Florida, and there's another video, Florida or Phoenix. Go check that out if you're thinking about maybe moving to Florida. But there was that aspect. But with Dallas and Phoenix, it is just so different. The Sonoran Desert, the like Native American like culture, the Mexican culture, California, it's all kind of vibe together here. And then Dallas is obviously just a beast of its own. You got like old school Texas Cowboys, and then you got like the modern rush and new part of Dallas, right? So it was just a fact of, it was just so different. Like the food's different, right? Texas, man, you got that Texas barbecue. It's so freaking good. Down here you got tacos, and it's a very Mexican influence. So you definitely feel that. And honestly, even like just like walking around, like the houses are different, right? And you get that too in Dallas, like the little bit smaller size yards and just massive houses. So that was honestly something that really stood out to us, is that when we were looking, we just wanted something, we needed something different. We needed a change in our life, and the different cultures was definitely a huge aspect as to why these two cities were on the map. And honestly, living down here, it does really kind of feel like the Midwest. So I'm in Phoenix, obviously. It does still kind of feel like the Midwest. People are, for the most part, pretty friendly. Driving is definitely different. It's chaos out there, and I'm sure it's the same in Texas. But just again, the food, it's just a very, very different culture. It looks different, and that really was a very attractive point for why we chose to move to Phoenix and get out of the Nebraska Midwest area. Another really big item that we loved about both of these cities is that for the most part, there's probably going to be a lot of comments in here about this one, but for the most part, it's really affordable actually to live here. Yes, housing has definitely gotten more expensive here in Phoenix, and I'm sure it's the same in Dallas. But for the most part, like guys, you have to remember these are massive American cities. So if you go look at like rent in like Chicago or LA or New York or even honestly even Houston at this point, it's really not that bad for what you get. There's 5 million people here, and you can still get into a condo in the 300s. That's a really good starter price here in the Phoenix area. And if you want, you can even get into a house. You might have to drive a little bit, but you can get into a house in the low 3s. It's the same thing in Dallas. Like if you go look up in like the northern Dallas area, it's really still affordable for what you're getting. Again, with all the job opportunities, all the sports, entertainment, all that stuff, you get that huge city life for a pretty affordable living, in my opinion. Yes, rents have gone up. Rents and houses, especially here in Phoenix, have gone up higher. But like if I go back home and I get like a beer at a restaurant, or if I am back home to Nebraska, right? If I go home and if I get a beer at a restaurant, or if I go out to eat, like it's gonna be $15. Down here in Phoenix, it might be $17. So overall, the cost of living is very, very similar, outside of housing, which is a major part of cost. But that was one thing that really stood out to us, is that hey, we can move as 24, 25-year-olds into Dallas or into Phoenix, and still feel like we can live, we can go travel, we can go play golf, we can go do other stuff, and not just be house or rent poor. So affordability for these two cities was definitely a major factor of why we chose ultimately again Phoenix, but why Dallas was also on our map was just the affordability of the city. Now moving on to our fifth and final option of things that are very, very similar of why Dallas and Phoenix were on our map was the airports. If you guys have seen my channel before, you guys know I absolutely love to travel. There's an entire world out there to explore, and it's just waiting for us. So I love to travel. My wife now, I got her on board. She's got the travel bug. So the fact that both of these cities have massive, massive airports. Phoenix, I think last year was like in the top 5 or top 10 of how many people come through in the United States. So it's a massive airport. Same thing with DFW, and you got Dallas Love. And that is one thing I didn't actually know before I moved down here, that Phoenix has 2 airports. You got one down in Mesa Gateway, and then you got Sky Harbor in the middle. That's more for your international and like big flights. But it is so nice that you have 2 massive airports. And one really important thing with that, of having the airports as big as they are, is a lot of our family doesn't live here in Phoenix. Actually, we're the only people in both of our families that live in Phoenix. So we loved both of these cities because they have direct flights. They had multiple options from the Omaha area, or now we have friends out in New York, or we have friends down in Texas, or all over Colorado. So we have direct flight options pretty much everywhere in the United States, depending on airline, right? So that was a major, major factor as to why we picked Phoenix and Dallas, as to why they were on our map. One thing that Dallas definitely does have better, it's a little bit more centrally located. So first, like I said, we got friends in New York now. We never really visited them before we moved. We've been out there 3 times. So, that's a 4 to 5 hour flight. So definitely a jaunt out there. That is one nice thing with Dallas, is that it's very centrally located. You can get pretty much anywhere in the United States within 3 hours. Seattle to Dallas, that's probably the longest. That's 3.5. So definitely Dallas gets the edge there. But guys, just know that both airports are really, really good. They're world class. They fly pretty much everywhere. And Phoenix is getting more and more direct flights. We just signed up a couple direct flights to Paris and over to Germany. So if you love to internationally travel, these are going to be 2 amazing, amazing cities. So guys, if you like this video so far, make sure you click the like button and comment down below. I want to know your thoughts about where I'm at in the similarities of why Dallas and Phoenix were on our maps. And if you're thinking about making a move to Phoenix, guys, please pause the video and reach out to us. I changed my entire career because of how much I love living in Phoenix, Arizona. So guys, I want to help you change your life and help you guys make your move down here to the Phoenix area. So again, if you're thinking about making a move, guys, pause the video And our contact information is down below, so please reach out to us. We want to help you change your life. I moved here from Nebraska. It's completely changed mine. So I absolutely love it down here in Phoenix, and I want to help you change yours. So guys, pause the video, reach out to us, and without further ado, let's get into the couple reasons as to why we chose Phoenix, Arizona over Dallas, Texas. All right, so moving into the 5 reasons of why we chose Phoenix over Dallas. Now, starting off, number 1, you guys are actually probably going to think this is kind of funny. So I ultimately chose Phoenix because my wife and I, because of like just the landscape and the geography, not only of Phoenix, but the entire state of Arizona. So first of all, so I came here as a kid, and I went to the Grand Canyon, and so that's all I kind of really knew about Arizona. But then when I was looking at moving to Phoenix, I really didn't know too much about it. All I would do is just watch the Weather Channel every single day and look in the winter in February and January, and it was 65 and 70. So I was like, all right, I'm already moving there. When I got down here, I was blown away by the mountains. I'm sure you could see while I'm filming and walking around this neighborhood down in southern Phoenix about like just the mountains everywhere. It is so cool. That is one of my favorite parts about living here in Phoenix, is that there's mountains right in the middle of the city. So like my sister, she lives out in Castle Rock, Denver, right? And so they always talk about the mountains. Well, you got to drive 2 hours to get to the mountains. So if you like to hike, you got to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to get actually into the mountains. Here in Phoenix, it's literally your backyard. Like South Mountain, that's a 1,500-foot hike. It's literally in your backyard, right in the middle of the city. You got Camelback Mountain, you got the Phoenix Mountain Preserve, you got the McDowell Mountains up in like northern Scottsdale. So that was one of the really cool things about Phoenix, Arizona versus Dallas, is that right here in the heart of the city, you don't have to go anywhere. There's mountains right in your backyard. For me, again, I moved here from the Midwest, right? So everything in Dallas, in my eyes, is like super flat. It really kind of looks the same. Obviously, it looks a little different than Nebraska, but for the most part, it looks pretty much the same. It's pretty flat. I know obviously there's a lot more lakes in Texas than there are in Nebraska. So that was one thing that was kind of cool. But for the most part, it's just very flat. So that was one thing, especially like city-wise of Phoenix versus Dallas, that really stood out to me. Love the mountains. I love being able to look at them, the mountains, the palm trees. Come on now. You just never get tired of looking at them. They're absolutely stunning. But then in the entire state, so my brother lived in West Texas, right? And Texas is absolutely massive. But for the most part, like Texas kind of looks the same. Yes, you do have hill country in like the Austin area, but for the most part, Texas kind of looks the same. Arizona, this state, guys, is wild. Like I said, you got the Grand Canyon up in northern Arizona. that is completely different than down here in Phoenix. Guys, you can drive 80 miles. Yes, 80 miles. It's about an hour and a half up to a town called Payson, and that is about 25 degrees cooler than the Phoenix area. So it literally looks like you're in the Black Hills of San Diego, or South Dakota, not San Diego. It's really, really cool. So if you get too hot during here in the summer, you can drive up to Payson, you can drive up to Flagstaff or Prescott or Sedona, and it's gonna be 20 to 25 degrees cooler. That aspect was really enticing once we started to explore more of this state and learn, that there are ways to escape the heat. You don't always have to be in here. So the overall, like, topography, geography, and mountain landscape of Arizona was definitely a huge plus as to why we chose Phoenix versus Dallas. Now the next reason, guys, if you've seen any of my other videos, you guys know I absolutely love to play golf. That is the main reason of why I wanted to move somewhere south, is so that I could be able to golf 12 months a year. And I'll talk a little bit about Dallas versus Phoenix in that aspect towards the end. So guys, again, make sure you stay tuned because that is a huge reason why I chose Phoenix versus Dallas. But overall, the golf courses here in Phoenix, I just thought it's really cool. Like, you literally have so many different styles of golf. So honestly, desert golf is really not my favorite. There's a ton of desert golf courses here, but you also have like more like Parkland style where, kind of the holes go back and forth and you're not losing your golf ball into the desert every single time. So honestly, I really thought it was really cool that, Phoenix has diversity in golf courses. You do have the desert golf, but you also have, more like city, municipal style home like golf courses where, they're not all the same. You have very, very diverse styles. So like the golf courses here in Phoenix are very, very different than they are up in the like northern Scottsdale area. Now, it is really cool that like some courses you get absolutely amazing views, and then some are just strictly for golf. So I really like that aspect of Phoenix. I think the golf is a little bit better here than it is in the Dallas area. One thing to note about the golf courses here in Phoenix, there's really not a lot of like private like country clubs. So in Nebraska, there was a handful, especially in Omaha, there's actually a lot of golf there, but there's a lot of, private golf courses there. Down here in Phoenix, there's really not too many unless you get up into like the northern Scottsdale area. So for the most part, They're all public golf courses. Now in Texas, there are a lot more private, but again, I just thought it was really cool. There's so many golf courses down here in Phoenix, and they're so diverse of the style that you can play. So overall, I think the golf courses are a little bit better here in the Phoenix area than in Dallas. Now the third reason of why I chose to move our family to Phoenix versus the Dallas area is I would just think it's so cool that like Phoenix is a little bit more of like a, it's a tourist destination. So especially in like February, you got like Waste Management. We had the Super Bowl a couple years ago. We just had the Final Four. Like those types of events is so fun to have people, want to come down, and even if we didn't go to either the Super Bowl or the Final Four, but like just to go to like the fanfare or just to go to like the events. I think it is so fun living in a place that is a tourist destination, that people want to come on vacation. They want to spend their cold hard money and spend that and go visit Phoenix versus like you actually get to live here. Like how cool is that you get to live in a vacation spot? I absolutely love it. Steph's parents, they've come down in Snowbird. There's always people in, February, March, April that they want to come visit. They want to get out of that cold, dark, gloomy Midwest, and they want to come down to the beautiful sunshine of Phoenix. So living in the tourist destination is so fun. Our first year that we moved down here, in 6 weeks, we had 6 different visitors. So it was so fun having people come down and visit and just soak up the sunshine. Now, if you don't want people coming down to visit you, Dallas might be a better option. I just feel like, not a ton of people when they're going on vacation, not a ton of people are saying they're going to Dallas. It's not a knock on the city. It's just kind of the reality. You're just not going to Dallas for a vacation in, let's say, February, right? So I really thought that was a really cool aspect of Phoenix, that it's more of a tourist area. There's a ton of resorts. There's so much to do. Absolutely love it. So living in a tourist destination was definitely kind of an A+ for why we chose Phoenix versus Dallas. Now, next on our list is just the amount of like outdoor activity. So, obviously we talked a little bit about golf earlier, and we talked about, kind of like the mountains and overall like geography of the state. With that comes, there's so many outdoor activities to do here, guys. If you love to like ride your dirt bike, there are a million trails for you here in the Phoenix area. If you love to hike, again, you don't have to drive 2 hours. Like I was talking about with my sister out in Denver, you can hike right here in the heart of the city. Rock climbing, I have a couple clients right now that they are huge outdoor rock climbers. So you have that ability. It's just so amazing of all of the outdoor activities here. It is a huge biking city. There are bike paths everywhere in this city. So when I used to work at a company in Nebraska, I had a coworker and she said every year they would, come down to Phoenix and bike. And I was like, Phoenix, why? Like, that's so random. And they were like, yeah, it's so amazing. There's flat, riding trails all over the city, and it's so beautiful, and the weather is so amazing. So huge biking culture, really good for running, even in the summer. So 2 years ago, wow, time flies. 2 years ago, I was training for a marathon. I never really ran before, and I trained here all summer. So you can run, you can do stuff all year round. That is probably one of the biggest misconceptions about living in Phoenix, is that you can't do stuff in the summer. Guys, it's the middle of summer right now. I'm sweating a little bit. I would never go hike or do anything in the middle of the day here in the summer, but just know that you have that option, that all year round, that you can be out doing outdoor activities. Now, can you do that in Dallas? Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about that here in a second. But again, every single day it's sunny here. It's absolutely amazing. The outdoor activities are endless. Hiking, horseback riding, dune bugging, dirt biking, golfing, tennis, pickleball, guys, you name it, Phoenix has it. So huge, huge plus as to why we moved here. There's just so many outdoor activities, and not to even mention, camping in the summer, doing any of the, like going to lakes up in like Flagstaff or Prescott. There's so much stuff to do here, guys, in the outdoor environment. It's a very healthy, moving city. Everybody wants to be outside. It's just an amazing spot to live. So the outdoor activities was a huge, huge reason as to why we picked Phoenix over Dallas. All right, guys, the last final reason as to why we picked Phoenix. This is probably going to be no surprise, but before we get into it, guys, again, if you like this video, make sure you click the like button. That way we know you are enjoying the content that we're producing. And comment down below. I really want to know your thoughts. If you're thinking about moving to Phoenix, where are you moving from? Again, I'm a Cornhusker. I moved here from Nebraska, and I absolutely love it down here in Phoenix. So guys, I want to help you change your life. So again, pause the video and reach out to us. Our contact information is down in the description below. Reach out to us. We really want to help you make your move to Phoenix. We absolutely love it. We change careers just to help people just like you that are thinking about moving to the Phoenix area. We love hearing from you, and we love when people reach out to us, and we can have the impact to change somebody's life by helping them move to Phoenix. So guys, pause the video, reach out to us, and let's get into the last reason as to why we picked Phoenix over Dallas. Guys, it's probably going to be no surprise. It's absolutely going to be the weather. The weather here in Phoenix, I think, is miles above what they have in Dallas. So let's start in like January, February. So I was just in Dallas at the end of December, so early January, early February. And man, I was freezing. Not only was it, cloudy and windy, but it was like cold. It was like cold. The high was only, 50 degrees. So when they say you can golf all year round, yeah, I'm sure you absolutely can. But from what it sounds like, the days are very kind of inconsistent. So one day it'll be 70 with no wind, and literally the next day it'll be 50 degrees and blowing wind, potentially like hail, ice storms, all of that stuff. Guys, that did not excite me at all. Even though it's only a couple days, moving from Nebraska, I'm like, dude, I'm tired of the cold, the snow, the ice, all of that. I'm done. I'm not doing any of that. So that is ultimately why we picked Phoenix, is the winter months. 100%. The winters here are so much better. January does get a little chilly down here, but again, chilly here is like 60 degrees and cloudy. And that's like very rare. For the most part, every single day is going to be 65, 70 degrees, sunny, no wind, no rain. It is absolutely amazing January, February, March. Now moving into kind of the springtime, people don't think that Phoenix has seasons. Guys, that cannot be further from the case. April, May, June starts to come around. It's pool season. It's sunny every single day. It's very low on when it rains. It's not very windy at all. Most days are 5 to 10 miles an hour. In Texas, you're gonna get those blustery 15, 20, 25 mile an hour wind days. You rarely have that here. So again, that was a huge part of why we chose Phoenix. Guys, I love golfing. I love playing pickleball. I love playing tennis. I could not stand when it was windy or cloudy. So that is completely eliminated when you move here to Phoenix. Now, does it get windy? Absolutely, obviously. But it's very, very rare. That's only, once every couple weeks where you get a, 15, 20 mile an hour day. For the most part, every day is like today. It's sunny. It's a little hot, but it's absolutely beautiful. I love it here. I love the weather. I think it's some of the best weather in the United States. Now, in the summertime, does Phoenix get hotter? Absolutely, right? Now, it is, you're going to have consistent 105, 110 all the way from July, pretty much through September. So, Dallas, yes, it might have the edge in like temperature-wise, because Dallas has, 50, 60, 70, 80% humidity. Like, it might only be 95, but you are going to be dripping sweat. Now, I'm kind of dripping sweat right now. It is the middle of summer here in Phoenix, so it is definitely hot. But guys, there is a huge difference between a dry heat and a humid 95 to 100. And guys, that's the thing too. Dallas can still get up to 105, 110 in the summer. Now, is it like that every day? Absolutely not. But when it's 105 here, 105 is that's like the best summer temperature that you want. You don't want to really get too much hotter, because if you step into the shade right here, it's gonna feel about 15 degrees cooler than it would if you were in humidity. So that is a huge aspect, guys. I golf all summer long here. I always tee off in the afternoon. It's really not that bad. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If 5 million people can do it, you can do it too. So the no humidity in the summer was a huge plus for us. Now, and then finally in the fall, again, Dallas might cool down a little bit faster than Phoenix does. By the time September, October comes around, it's still pretty hot here in Phoenix versus, Dallas is starting to get into that really, really nice time of year, 60s, 70s, 80s. Into like the October, November timeframe. But again, once middle of October and November comes, guys, it is 85 degrees, pure sun every single day, no humidity, no wind. It is absolutely amazing. I love the falls down here. But just to kind of quickly summarize again with the weather. So there's no humidity here. Yes, it does temperature-wise get hotter, because it probably feels about the same in the middle of summer here as it does there. Just no humidity, so you can escape by getting in difficulties. But that was the end of the video. Just to quickly summarize, both Phoenix and Dallas are two of the fastest growing metros in the entire United States. Both are amazing places to live. But I hope in this video it helps, kind of uncover some of the similarities that we were going through, as well as the major differences as to why we picked Phoenix. So again, if you're thinking about making a move to the Phoenix area, guys, pause the video, reach out to us. Our contact information is down below. We want to hear from you. Phoenix has absolutely changed our life, so we want to help you change yours. So reach out to us below, and thanks for watching. Check out the other videos on our channel.